Hello, good people. I'm glad to see that you have survived the rapture because you, like me, are probably just terrible people and God didn't want you up there. You didn't pray enough, you didn't tithe enough, and that's fine because now we're together. And honestly, what is that number supposed to be? 144,000 out of 7 billion? I think more people go missing in the national parks every year. Nevertheless, I had this whole long video planned about the canonization of Saint Charlie, about Charlie Kirk.
Please, Lisa, everyone's already figured that out.
I know. That's why I'm not doing this video. We know. We already figured that out. In fact, there is a lot more that is just so much stranger, just so much weirder about this situation than Charlie Kirk becoming a Christian nationalist martyr, which, by the way, was the last thing we needed. For the record, I have to get this out of the way, I think his unaliving was completely unnecessary and straight up goofy. It was stupid. Charlie Kirk was a man that I did not agree with on most things, but his weapons were words. So if someone wanted to fight him, they could fight him using words. He was not infallible. Plenty of people beat him in debates. They're not going to focus on that on his website, but you can look it up. You can see people beating him in debates. There are clips of him losing. There are clips of him winning. There are clips of him and his opponents agreeing with each other. So all silencing him did was create this mythical figure that is now beyond reproach. It has given the MAGA movement a literal saint, although evangelicals, they don't really have saints, but a martyr. And about a third of this country right now is going through a deeply spiritual movement with Charlie Kirk at the center, and the rest of us, we're just witnessing it happen. He really is their MLK. And to me, MLK, Martin Luther King, he's not flesh and blood. He's transcended. He's an idea now. So that's how I can understand what they're going through. And you might take issue with me comparing him to MLK, but I didn't do that. They did. And I believe them when they say it. Now, did his followers have to deal with police-enforced segregation? Were they hounded by dogs and humiliated simply for having the wrong skin color? No. And no. But the rest of us don't really get a say on who's their MLK. They have their own media. They can build their own myths. And they had this massive, massive memorial in which thousands and thousands of people went on pilgrimage. Now, we don't have to agree, but they are technically our countrymen, and we ought to respect them during their time of mourning, their period of mourning. It's like when your least favorite sibling, your least favorite cousin is going through hard times. You don't gloat, you don't rub it in. You're just like, all right, well, feel better. It's called class. It's why you applaud when a play you don't like is over, because you're happy it's over. It's why you respect a moment of silence, because it may be the only minute of peace and quiet you get that whole day. You can go home from a funeral and trash talk the deceased all you want. You can trash talk them to your family. You can leave a wedding and make bets on how long the marriage is going to last in your car, but you don't say anything at the funeral and you don't say anything at the wedding. It's just decency. My version of decency, anyway. Okay, so now that the disclaimers are out of the way, this Charlie Kirk thing is just weird. It's just weird. I'm going to go over the 3 strangest things, but I'm sure there are a lot more that you're going to put in the comments. But this is what has really struck me. And you're like, didn't you just say this big-headed podcaster is MAGA MLK? Is anything stranger than that? Well, sit down, because you are not going to believe the stuff I am reading about this. It's in the news. It's not some teen drama on the CW. First, a few days prior to Charlie Kirk's death, Jezebel, the magazine, they cursed him via witches that they found on Etsy. They have since taken down that article, but my brother sent it to me the day that it happened. And I thought that was really strange. The timing was just so suspicious. Now, I'm not against any religious belief. We went over this in last week's video. You do you. I just don't think you should go around cursing people, full stop, because in the spiritual world, that can come back on you. I thought, this is a little heavy for a satire article, like they were trying to sell it. However, it has since come out that Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, was really shaken by the article, and she called in a friend who also happened to be a priest to pray with them together, apparently the night before it happened. This is according to Megyn Kelly. She broke the story of, Erica Kirk's anxiety. So let's unpack this for a minute. Atheists and people in Europe might think that this is just absolutely insane. And it is. It's medieval stuff. But it has real consequences. First off, the religious right in this country is very, very powerful, and they believe in good and evil. To them, Jesus Christ is real, and so is the devil. Also, they hold power right now, and power is real. They think that the left is trying to push this godless, Gnostic new religion to destroy the family unit and turn people against God, and that Satan is secretly pulling the strings behind the scenes. They have been preparing for this day for their whole lives and their parents' whole lives and their grandparents' whole lives, going way, way back. They thought that something like this would happen, and to them, they're seeing these predictions come to reality. Now, how do you think it looks when a magazine called Jezebel, now she is a female villain from the Bible who tried to replace Yahweh with Baal and is known in American Christian circles as a demonic woman who tries to destroy godly people. You ever heard of the Jezebel spirit? It's very common in those circles. How do you think it looks when Jezebel magazine says they cursed Charlie Kirk and then 2 days later he is dead? These people, they believe in black magic. They believe that it works, and they believe that Satan is real. To them, this is spiritual warfare. Erica Kirk believed it was true, and she was suffering anxiety before her husband's untimely death. You can check out the comments in the Megyn Kelly video for yourself. They're actually really fascinating. Also, I got a side-eye Jezebel for dabbling in this black magic. Like, if you hated Charlie Kirk, I get it, but why not get a white witch to cast a spell to strengthen women who debated him? We never mess with curses and hexes. It's so spiritually irresponsible for Jezebel to lead their readers down this path. I'm surprised they did it. For atheists, think about it like method acting. Sometimes actors, they get so into a role that they end up destroying themselves. So even if you don't believe in magic or curses or whatever, there's still a reason why you don't mess with the dark arts. And I'm like, Jezebel, are you trying to get us all burned at the stake again? Because this is how you get us all burned at the stake again. Hexes are very dark, and Jezebel, the magazine, was really brazen about this. Jezebel, what the fuck? That is tacky, and it's bad spiritualism, and they ought to actually feel deeply, deeply ashamed, aside from this. And I don't want to be at the stake. Like, for the record, I just wanted to read books. I don't mess with these Macbeth-ass witches. What is all this? And then I burn up because I'm open-minded and I get swept up in all this frenzy. Anyway, the next thing I found very odd about the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk unaliving is the miracle. Did you hear about the miracle? The miracle. Okay, the bullet that struck his neck, there was no exit wound, even though it was a very high caliber. So this, according to his people, saved the people behind him. Now, I had to ask ChatGPT because obviously I'm not dealing with a lot of exit wounds. And Chat said, yeah, it's very, very unlikely that there would be no exit wound, but it's not unheard of. However, the word miracle has much deeper connotations than something that's highly unlikely. Remember, saints need to perform miracles to be canonized in Catholicism. Here, St. Charlie has performed at least one miracle. Now, this goes on to the mythologizing of Charlie Kirk. Now, when I saw that headline, I was like, there's no way they called it a miracle. They must know what that means. They must know that it is very important in religious circles. Now, if you saw any part of his memorial service, you know that both spiritual leaders and MAGA politicians are raising Charlie Kirk up to saint, to martyr status, because as we said, evangelicals don't have saints like that. No, Europe. If you're in Europe, please do not turn this video off because all of this sounds bad crazy. It does sound bad crazy. But you have to put up with all of our star-spangled nonsense because you don't have a military and your economy is about as small as our president's tiny little hands. I would also be very scared if I had to deal with Americans because this is all crazy, but it has real world implications. For example, evangelical thinking that Israel must exist, that also has real world implications. Just because something is crazy doesn't mean it doesn't affect the world. Anyway, the final thing that I found absolutely insane about the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk unaliving is the AI Charlie Kirk memorials. Have you seen these? Now, this combines religion with rapidly moving technology, and I'm looking at it like a deer in the headlights, like, no bueno, no, I don't like this. Can we go back in time a little bit? Now, this is from Religion News. The article is called Charlie Kirk's AI Resurrection Ushers in a New Era of Digital Grief. AI-generated versions of the conservative Christian activist are popping up online after his killing, as well as in church services. Now, in this particular example, the pastor told the congregation that the clip was AI generated. I will play this for you right now. It's his voice.
First, I want you to know I'm fine, not because my body is fine, but because my soul is secure in Christ. Death is not the end. It's a promotion. Don't waste 1 second mourning me. Double down on truth. Double down on courage. Double down on your faith and on your families. That is how you honor me. So dry your tears, pick up your cross, and get back in the fight. Do it with joy, do it with strength, and never ever let evil think it won.
The AI is using Charlie Kirk's voice to tell people a message from beyond the grave. And it's not just this clip, but many AI videos and images are going around the internet. Here are just a few of them.
Welcome, my son. Your work is done. Come rest.
I'm Charlie. My faith cost me my life, but now I stand forever in glory with those who also stood firm. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to some of my brothers and new friends.
My name is Paul.
I will link this article down below as well. Now, I have seen this before. I saw this from the family of a young man that was killed in a school shooting. Through the AI, this young man gave a message that we need to end gun violence. And that was also off-putting to me, but I shrugged it off. I said, look, it's his parents' right. They need to grieve. This is terrible. But this Charlie Kirk thing is different. I don't think it was Kirk's family who put these together. And I think they're a little busy right now. It was the public. And to be fair, I think the public meant well. Nevertheless, kill all of this with fire. I know I sound like a caveman, but the dead should not be speaking. If it was a quote from Charlie Kirk, I'd be okay with it. But he never said these things. He's talking about his own death. It's like he's been resurrected, but through technology. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Yes, I am that old man yelling at a cloud right now. And I'm okay with that. I feel we're going to be seeing a lot more of this technology in the future being used as this becomes more widely adopted. So get ready for it. So those are the 3 things from the Charlie Kirk assassination aftermath that I find straight up bizarre. And I don't know how to process them quite yet. I'm more familiar with these concepts than most people are, and I am shocked that they are as mainstream as they are. I don't think this bodes well for the nation's sanity, and it seems like the zeitgeist has become almost schizophrenic, certainly more outwardly spiritual. I don't know if that's a good thing. And I don't think that the event helps the country at all. I see much worse coming out of the far right to fill this attention vacuum that Kirk's death has left. No, I don't like any of it. So what do you think? Does anything surprise you anymore? If they make Charlie Kirk Day a national holiday, how will you spend your day off? No wrong answers. I'll see y'all next week.